There we go. All right, guys, welcome in. It's Thursday. It's time for Total Bases. We're a minute late because we were talking about Fresca backstage, and then all of a sudden it was time to start the show. But the good news is we don't need to bounce around today. There's only 6 games. Why did that? I think we're live everywhere. I had a little pop-up right there, but 6 games. I'm going to give everyone a chance to file in real quick. And I just want to point out before we get into it today, the massive L that Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball are taking with this schedule. Why? Because it's opening night of the NFL. And what did Major League Baseball do? Well, what they didn't do was look at the schedule and say, hey, maybe we should put a couple of games on earlier in the day. Because I guarantee you no one at Major League Baseball even noticed or even cared to say, hey, let's make sure on a Thursday where we always have day games and most of the time we don't have enough on at night, let's make sure we stay out of the NFL's way because no one's going to watch. What do we get today? 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 7, 7, 7, and 7. It blows my mind that Major League Baseball doesn't take advantage of a lot of opportunities to grow the game. One of them, Bryan, Leonard, would have been today having standalone games at 1, maybe at 3, at 5, when everyone just loaded up their betting accounts, all these sort of fair weather people, to bet the NFL tonight. Why would Major League Baseball take advantage of that? Instead, they're going to put all 6 games up against football, which is mind-numbing, but that's what we're going to get. And today on the show, you're going to get all 6 games. We're just going to go in order. So right over to you. Finally, after we've waited around and done nothing all afternoon, at 4 p.m. Eastern, we get a game, and that game is Phillies-Brewers. So start us off, Ranger Suarez, Freddie Peralta. How are you seeing this one?
I don't think the Major League Baseball is smart enough to figure any of that out. Just they make so many mistakes. They don't care. They just assume nobody's watching. Nobody's watching baseball anyway. So I don't think they have any clue as to what's going on. We're looking at the Phillies and the Brewers, and I was able to watch a lot of games yesterday. I headed out to the local casino. My wife wanted to see the 50th anniversary of Jaws, and I guess yesterday was the last day, and she's a huge Jaws fan, and she loved it. I guess it was in 3D and everything, so it's unfortunate that a lot of people didn't get to see that, but I got to sit in the sports book all by myself and watch whatever I wanted, and it was great. I loved it. One of my favorite nights of the year. Ranger Suarez going for the road team in Philadelphia today. He's a lefty going against Peralta, who has been just terrific all season long. Peralta and the Brewers are about a 122 favorite, 7.5 over or 8 under. And in watching that game, it was clear that the Brewers are the better all-around team. They do everything better. They don't score as many runs as Philadelphia. They don't have the home run hitters Philadelphia does, but they've got much better defense, much better players to be able to run the bases. And they're just the all-around best team in baseball. And, obviously the run differential this year has shown that, but nobody's giving them credit. I mean, they used the guy that's been around forever, and he shuts down the Phillies. I mean, it's just the Brewers. I love this Brewers team this year. It reminded me a lot of the Tampa Bay from years past when they were always going to the playoffs. Okay, let's get to this game. Ranger Suarez, 3.02 ERA, 3.06 expected, 1.17 whip. He is the ace of this team now that Wheeler is out, and Nola once again struggled again yesterday. I wouldn't count on Nola for the playoffs. Rangers fastball velocity is only in the 7th percentile. His extension is in the 30th, but other than that, everything's great. 99th percentile in hard hit rate, 98th in average exit velocity. This is a guy, he's a lefty, and I love that, and he keeps the batters off balance. He throws 6 different pitches, and his four-seamer only throws 14% of the time because it's only 91.3 miles an hour. Love Ranger Suarez. This guy is just a terrific pitcher. Freddie Peralta's having a career year. He's been around for 8 seasons and has a 3.59 career ERA. This year, 2.58, but his expected is 3.41, 1.07 on the whip. Ground ball rate, 27th percentile, which is not very good. Walk rate, 32. He's one of those guys that will put people on. if he thinks you're going to beat him. And I have no problem with that. Shane Bieber's done that in the past. A lot of other guys have done it with success. Seems to be working out well with him. His strikeout minus walk ratio on the season is 17.5. Not outstanding, but very good. But he only throws 4 pitches, and his four-seamer is number one at 54%. He's about league average in that regard. But he's got a lot of red on his StatCast page, hard hit rate 93rd percentile, and I like both these pitchers. Now, the situation we're going to run into here is the total is only 7.5 here, and we did get some bullpen usage yesterday. That is a concern. It is a getaway day for these teams, but it is an afternoon game, an early game from that point, 4:10, the earliest on the card today. Like the under, Pinnacle just moved it to 8, and I think that's probably the way it's going to go. It's probably, you get 7.5, I don't think I'm interested, but if you can get 8, I kind of like the under in it. But other than that, I don't know if I'm going to get there. It's clear to me that Milwaukee's the team to beat at this point. I just like the way they play, and all the other teams have the big stars, but that's not a team game. It's an individual game in that regard, and that's the problem you have. So like Milwaukee on the season, but in this game, probably not going to get there with anything.
My first impression when looking at these two teams was I got Philadelphia ranked slightly better than Milwaukee at hitting and bullpen, but I got Peralta slightly rated higher than Ranger Suarez on a curve. So kind of stuck here. Both lineups are top 6. Both bullpens are bottom 10 in current form. And both starters are top 10 on a curve of 30, which means they're both in the top 1/3 of starting pitchers. So I looked a little deeper and I found that Ranger Suarez has been absolutely tagged by these batters in his career. He's got 55 at-bats against, a 364 average against, and a 997 OPS. That's 250 points higher than what I would like to see at 750. So my first inclination was to kind of go for the Phillies here, but after looking at that, and looking at the team total, Milwaukee Brewers team total, only 3.5. Now I've got their hitters ranked 9 out of 30 in current form. And I've got the Philly bullpen ranked 18. Given the fact that Ranger Suarez could get knocked around by these guys, and he's got a bullpen that's in a little bit of tatters right now, I think 3.5 is a little low for Milwaukee. So I would look at their team total over 3.5, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I think I lean toward. I would lean in toward the the bullpen usage here. I guess something I've kind of said about the Brewers for a couple of weeks now is you're not going to see them really, just exert anyone if they don't have to. So, like, if there's a scenario where they've used some bullpen arms, I think we're going to see a spot like we saw. I forget who they were playing, but I think Bryan ended up kind of getting burned in a spot where they left Garrett Anderson out there in the 9th inning on a Sunday after they used a couple bullpen arms and they blew, I think it was the Brewers Reds, and they had like guys that weren't in their normal spot in like the 8th and 9th inning. So, you look at a scenario where the Brewers win and they win 6-3. And then yesterday, I'm just kind of pulling it up quick. They used Ashby, they used Uribe, Koenig came in for the save. You're not going to, I don't think you're going to see them really put much stress on anyone at the end of games. So not one I'm going to spend much more time on because I don't believe I'll have a play here, but that would, I guess, be my concern in a game that otherwise looks to be very evenly matched. I thought on Monday or on Tuesday when we first started talking about this series that it was going to be a competitive series. It's been that to this point. So no play for me here. The thing that would put me off is maybe the bullpen usage, and maybe because of that, you get some late runs, and that 7.5 is a little bit low. So the slightest of leans toward Phillies plus money and the over. Don't think I'm going to play either of those. All right, right down the list. Next game is one that I feel like I've kind of gotten this right the last couple days with the Pirates. They've now taken the first 2 games of this series, and you didn't need the +1.5. Brian Leonard, you're not getting a +1.5 today. with Paul Skeens on the mound. Is this the day the Dodgers pull one back, in your opinion, right here? Dodgers Pirates, PNC
This
Park.
is a rematch of the last time these two played, correct? Snell against Gaines?
Sounds right. Yeah, I think that I can look that up, but that does sound right.
Got that victory in that one. We've talked about the Dodgers on how to treat them the rest of the season, and it's worked out very well. They, along with the Padres right now, are just not playing with any emphasis on trying to win. They're already locked into the playoffs virtually. So there's some teams that we can go against. And it's going to be, I talked about this the other day where I said the Dodgers are about to play three teams that aren't very good. And then they finish the season with competitive teams and rivalries, that kind of thing. They've already lost the first two games of this series. And I think this is the game that they come to play. Because if you take a look at their schedule coming up, this is by far the best pitcher that they were going to face in Paul Skeens. They just lost to Paul Skeens, and especially Snell, who did not pitch that great in that game. I think this is the Dodgers. We can come out and we can get them at a discounted price here. We're looking at as low as 116 up to 120 out there on the Dodgers, and a total of 7 to the over. And I think this is a game that I'm going to look at the Dodgers and think I could probably get some value in here. Blake Snell, I just talked about guys who walk people just so they don't have to face them in a bad situation. He's the guy that leads the league in this. And his walk rate's 11.4%. His strikeout rate's 24.1. 12.7 is not what we normally see out of Blake Snell. So even though he's got that 2.41 ERA, 3.88 expected, 1.37 whip, he really hasn't pitched that well yet. But like last year, he had a 34.7 strikeout rate, only 10.5 walk. So he's gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 years straight in which he's had a strikeout rate in the 30s. It's only 24.1 now. I would expect now that he's building up some innings, he's up to 37 on the season. We see more of that here. Even on his limited innings, 37.1, we see a lot of red on his StatCast page. Obviously, the walks are the concern, but those walks are done on purpose as opposed to a lot of players in that regard. Skeens, terrific pitcher, no doubt about it. Likely to win the Cy Young now with Wheeler out. Comes in with a 2.05 ERA, 2.59 expected, 0.95 whip. He's already pitched. Now, this is major leagues. I know he spent a lot of time in the minors last year, but he's already pitched 34 more innings than last year. This is a Pirates team that's not going anywhere. He's a bulldog. He's going to want to take the ball every time he goes out there. But if the Pirates are smart, they will limit his innings the rest of the way. They got some other guys in the minors that deserve that starting rotation. So it would not surprise me if he's a 5-and-fly guy the rest of the season. And if you take a look at the Pirates bullpen, they're in serious trouble here because they won those last two games. So they're going to lose out on their 8th and 9th inning guy, and their 7th inning guy is going to have to close for the Pirates tonight. So as this game goes on, I like the Dodgers a little bit more. Maybe if we wait a little bit in live betting, we can catch the Dodgers at plus money. But overall, on a small scale today with not too many games being played, I do think this is the game that the better team gets the victory, and that'll be the Dodgers.
Guys, go to wagertalk.com and see what we have up. I've got a Major League Baseball play. I'm sure my comrades here will have one up today, and a free play as well. So take the 10 seconds to go to wagertalk.com, or see that scroller down there. You can see the shortcut right to our pages and see our free plays. So are the Dodgers going to lose to Lodzinski, lose to Ashcraft, and then beat Skeens? That would be highly unlikely, but that's baseball. That's usually what's going to happen. The most unlikely thing. If you cover the logos here, the Pirates have the better hitting, the better bullpen, by far the better bullpen, and the better starter today. It's so, yeah. Will the Dodgers win under those circumstances? Well, that's baseball, guys. Weird things happen in baseball. For the record, Blake Snell has a 3+ ERA on the road and a 1 ERA at home. Paul Skeens has a 1.5 ERA at home. So he's really good. Against these Dodgers, though, there's a couple batters who can get to Skeens, at least a small sample size, but Teoscar Hernandez is 4 for 8 against him. And Pajes is 4 for 4 against him. So if you want to take hits, runs, RBIs, those would be 2 guys to look at. Probably get pretty good number because Skeens is a top 2 pitcher in all of MLB. Skeens numbers against the Dodgers, not the best. Snell against these Pirates, 57 at-bats against a 193 average and a 563 OPS. Really good. So I would take those 2 guys on hits, runs, RBIs, or I would take the first 5 under if it's 3.5 or better. I would not take a 3, but I would take a 3.5 or even alt it to a 4.5 because I think both of these starters are going to hold it down for at least the first 5. So those would be the 2 ways I would go here. Will the Dodgers win the game that they're not supposed to win? Probably. That's usually how baseball goes.
Couple things. So the first thing, Snell has not faced the Pirates yet this year. That was that was way earlier in the year. He was on the IL still.
The Padres.
No, he was just hurt. So that game that Bryan was thinking of was Skeens versus Yamamoto. Just so we're factually correct. Snell was way back April. I don't think these 2 teams have played since late April when that series was. The second thing, I don't know that the Dodgers are not supposed to win this game. They're still favored. I think what I'll say here is, so this is as someone that's been very pro Pirates the last couple of days, that this is probably the worst spot of the whole series to play them. And it's because of the bullpen usage. So you have Pirates, not only did they cover the +1.5, they've won the last 2 days and they've won close games. So they basically burned through any bullpen arm that you would want out there. They've burned through. Now the wild card here is Justin Lawrence, but I don't know why he's not on the team yet. So Justin Lawrence would be their best leverage relief arm. He's coming back from injury. He threw 3 times last week at for the AAA team. So I just assumed that he was going to be activated ahead of this series. And for whatever reason, he hasn't, but he hasn't appeared at AAA yet this weekend either. So that's something I'll personally have my eye on coming up to this game. Is he going to be activated today? Did he tweak something? Did he have a setback? Is he back on the IL? I don't know. I haven't found anything out of it yet, but that would certainly change things for me here in terms of like leaning toward the Pirates. If I knew I had Skeens and I knew I had Lawrence in a leverage spot after that, I'd be more inclined to take the Pirates because of that. If he's not there, I don't think I want anything to do with the Pirates from the full game standpoint because of what Bryan said. They've got to have an eye on Skeens' innings at this point, and it's hard to believe he's out there past the 5th inning. So, but because of that, it's still Paul Skeens, and he's still, he if he knows he's only going 5, I think you're going to get his best effort over those 5. So maybe Pirates -110 for the first 5, and because you're probably going to get 5 out of Skeens, he's probably not going to only go 4 unless he's getting hit hard. So if I was going to bet this game today, like I can't go against the Pirates at this point, just because I'd be contradicting everything I said the past couple of days. That being said, it's definitely not the best price and not the best spot to bet them the full game. So if I'm playing here, it's got to be Pirates first 5, and I'm just going to take a shot that Skeens is just because Skeens is the better of these 2 pitchers. Probably not. There's not by a landslide, but he is. I would just put my money on Skeens for 5 innings. If the game is tied, I get my money back. If he's in the lead, I take it and run because the Dodgers, if they will probably get to this Pirates bullpen, especially if Justin Lawrence is not back, which it kind of looks like. Why would they activate him in the middle of the series, right? That's not how they usually operate. Usually it's, okay, we're going to bring him back at the beginning of the series, or he's going to meet us in Milwaukee, wherever we're going next. So without him, that Pirates bullpen is in trouble today, and you could see some late runs for the Dodgers, which maybe gives you a chance at this over 7. That's an awfully low number if there's runs at the end of the game. So just the way I see it, probably no action in either of those for me. Just trying to reason out my thoughts here. Bryan Leonard, the Guardians, I got to say, I mean, as a fan, this must be Like every time that they're completely buried, somehow they win games. And that's really like the start to this week. It looked like they were about to be buried. And what happens? The Mariners can't win a game. And now the Guardians go out and get a win to give you more false hope. The season of false hope for Guardians and Guardians fans. They play the Rays, who are giving their fans maybe some false hope as well. I believe 6 wins in a row now after totally blasting the Mariners. And actually, what the Rays did the last couple of days was get both of these teams back in the mix, because the Mariners, they need to have a long that's going to be a long flight home to Seattle. They're going to have to think about some things, because suddenly that final spot is up for grabs. And these are the 2 teams that look like they could grab it. Your Cleveland Guardians, an underdog again here. Do they keep it going for you for one more day is the question.
Yeah, it's amazing how this season has gone for them. Every time you think that they're out of it, they pull you right back in. Yeah, Allen, the lefty, going against Pepio, the righty, for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is about a 160 favorite here, total 8.5 to the under. Logan Allen getting the start for Cleveland. He's 4.42 ERA, 4.72 expected, 1.44 whip. He's had a problem with his whip in his entire career, in 3 seasons at 1.46. That's not pretty. In fact, the only thing, you take a look at his card, and no bright red at all, but his hard hit rate's pretty good in the 74th percentile. But if you take a look at his barrel rate, it's in the 27th percentile, and chase rate in the 4th. I think he's getting a little bit lucky on that hard hit rate. 5 pitches he throws, all at least 10%. His 4-seamer throws the most at 91.1 miles an hour, not overly impressive. He's just a guy, for myself, that's just eating up innings for Cleveland. And he's not one of those guys I'm looking to back on a regular basis. Pepio, a little disappointed season here for Pepio. I thought this was going to be a breakout season for him. He's done pretty well in 4 seasons, 3.46 ERA, 1.14 whip. But this year I thought was going to be the one for him to step up. He's got a 3.70 ERA, 4.01 expected, 1.15 whip. He grades out by looking at his Statcast base. He's like an average pitcher. And to have the ERAs that he has had in his career and only be an average pitcher tells me that he's overproducing what his value is. He does throw 6 pitches, but the main one is his 4-seamer at 44%. And he throws a few others, a little bit lesser, change and slider a little bit. But he's a guy that I'm a little bit disappointed on so far this season. And we're looking at this game here. The way Cleveland's playing, they do have the lefty, and I do prefer the lefties, although the righties are starting to make amends on that on the season. But still, the lefties have a better record, and they've performed better. Slight lean to Cleveland here, but I don't know if I'll get there. I think both teams are overplaying what they have right now. Tampa Bay still has some quality players on the DL. Cleveland has brought up Big Christmas again yesterday, and he had a home run or 2. And so he's always excites the crowd in Cleveland. They love him, even though he hasn't performed well. But I don't trust either one of these teams to win. But if I had to play it, I'd take the plus money with Cleveland.
Pepio is a little bit disappointing this season, but take a look at his last 4 or 5 starts. 5 innings, no earned. 5 innings, no earned. 5 innings, 4 earned. 6 innings, 4 earned. So he's kind of coming in to it. He did not face the best lineups, St. Louis and Washington, in those 2 5-inning shutout starts. But I don't think Cleveland is exactly a power offense either. Cleveland's won 2 games in a row against Tampa, and Tampa does have false hope, but I think they still think they have some hope. I've got them ranked way higher than Cleveland here. Pepio, I got him 6 spots higher than Allen. I got the Tampa bullpen ranked 6, while I got Cleveland ranked 20. And hitting, got Tampa ranked 10, while I got Cleveland ranked 29. So I like the Rays here. I'm going to make it my parlay leg, actually. I'm going to take Tampa on the money line here. I think Pepio's had 2 really good starts, and I think he's going to continue it. against another offense that's been a little bit disappointing this season. One red flag, his stats against these batters are not the best in his history, but that was not this season. I think a little bit of momentum means a lot. These guys are very streaky up and down, and I think Pepiot's on a good streak here. So I'm going to take him and the Rays as my parlay leg.
They're about 159 right now.
159. Good for a parlay leg.
Yeah, and especially on a day where there's not much, I can't really argue with that from just trying to pick the winner standpoint. And if you're putting it in the parlay, no big deal on the price. So yeah, I mean, I would have interest in the Rays from a side standpoint, probably if the price was significantly cheaper. But you're not really worried about minus 160 in the parlay. So no issues with that for me. So I look at this and like I kind of. You go back to that last series. You had the one game where I believe the Rays won 9-0. The other two games were lower scoring. I think the books kind of look at this matchup and say we have two bad offenses here, and so we're going to price it accordingly. I wouldn't be surprised if poor pitching outweighed the quote unquote bad offense here. I think this one gets over. I don't like Logan Allen at all. I think it's shocking to me that he is still in a starting rotation in the bigs with some of the like when you look at StatCast page and stuff like that. And every time I watch Logan Allen pitch a big league game, it's typically how did he just get through 6 innings? How did he just get through 5 innings? Credit to him. I'm sure there's a lot of pitchers that have gotten to this level that wish they could sort of do that. Even if they would trade worse stuff to be able to navigate a game like he's been able to do. But again, like he's someone that can absolutely get hit. And I'm with you guys on I'm with you, Bryan, on Pepiot. I've been very disappointed in him this year. Coming into the season, I kind of felt like he could be a legitimate ace, and he just really hasn't been that. Expected ERA is around 4, which is not bad, but still concerning. Exit velo, he gets hit hard. It's just average, in my opinion. He's been average to above average, nothing special. So again, you talk about an 8.5 in this type of game. Feels like there could be a timely hit or two on either side. You get to 4-4, it's already over. So again, I just think that the books maybe shaded this one toward the under because of the two teams you're dealing with. But these are not under pitchers right now, in my opinion. And this is not an under ballpark, really. Remember, we're not at the Trop, right? Like this is Steinbrenner Field, spring training facility. Ball can get out of there quickly. It's not like a pitcher's park by any means. So I'll throw out a small lean toward the over, but we'll let TB keep that one, and we'll go Rays in the parlay. Have no issue with that. All right. Next game. Got this one wrong yesterday. I thought that was a home run spot setup, everything for the Royals. But Bryan, you make such a good point about these sort of need to win teams. I almost feel like they've become a net negative. You said this weeks ago, and you've been right about this. These teams that get a little bit overpriced because they quote unquote need to win, or it's a huge game for them. The point you made was, well, it's a big game because they haven't won enough so far this year, right? It's so important for the Royals because they've put themselves in this spot by being an average team. And you're kind of seeing that again here. Royals at home. Yeah, you would think that they could get one of these. Are you willing to pay $1.50 to do that? That's the question. It didn't work out yesterday. Does it work out here?
If anybody missed yesterday's show, I highly recommend you go back and watch at least the segment. It was near the end of the show. I think it was the last game we talked about, where I rarely disagree with these guys as much as that one. It worked out in my favor. I gave a good spot for the Angels, and Trick came back and shot me down with some nice information for Kansas City. It was a tight game. It could have went either way. But that was a really good segment, I thought. I learned from him. He learned from me.
Yeah.
And that's the way we're all
good.
here.
Credit to Caden
here.
Taylor. He pitched well. He pitched well.
Try to learn. So it worked out very well. I will say, in this game, we've got Kyle Hendricks against Noah Cameron. Cameron's the lefty. Cameron and Kansas City are about a 150 favorite. generally, and about 9 on the line, slightly to the over. I'm really if you take a look at the Statcase page on Baseball Savant on the MLB website, it's amazing when you take a look at Kyle Hendricks. First of all, he's got a 4.89 ERA, 4.15 expected, 1.31 WHIP. You rarely see this discrepancy from a pitcher in Major League Baseball. He's in the 95th percentile in average exit velocity, 88th percentile in hard hit rate, 84th in chase rate, 79th in walk rate. Terrific numbers. The same pitcher is number in the first percentile in fastball velocity, first percentile in extension, 5th percentile in whiff rate, and 6th percentile in strikeout rate. Considering he doesn't strike anybody out, he's only got 89 strikeouts in 136.1 innings. How is this guy winning? He's got 6-9 on the season. That's a good season for him. He went 4-12 the year before. I like the way he's pitching, and I took some time and looked at what he's done this year compared to last year. Now, he's used the changeup for most of his pitches both years, but his changeup last year, he had a 295 expected WOBA. This year it's 290, but he's using it a lot against lefties. He's had success in that regard. Last year, 455 pitches against lefties, 372 against righties. This year, 448 against lefties, 376 against righties. A 290 WOBA is awesome. You take a look at that compared to his curveball, which is a 516 WOBA. That means against lefties, he's really good. And what does Kansas City do? Kansas City throws a lot of lefties against you. Mike Yastrzemski, Pasquantino, Adam Frazier, Massey, Caglione, Isbell, and Carter Jensen, the catcher that they brought up, all left-handed batters, and he gets to face them. So I like the situation right here with the Angels. Once again, this is a team that's been out of the playoffs a long time. They continue to find ways to fight and keep everybody involved, and I like the way Kyle Hendricks has pitched, and I think I probably said that twice in the last decade. Noah Cameron, rookie, having a terrific rookie season, 7-6, 2.92 ERA, 3.54 expected, 1.09 WHIP, and he's a lot of the same. He's very good in his barrel percentage in 90th percentile, hard hit rate 77th, average exit velocity 84th, but his fastball velocity only 19th percent, his chase rate 27th, strikeout rate 26th. He throws 5 pitches, all of them about the same. So I really like the way he does that. He's not going to blow you away with his strikeouts and his ability to get you out in that direction. But we got 2 crafty pitchers here. One is a longtime veteran. One is a young guy. And I like the situation for the Angels. You're getting them at plus 135 or so on this. You can even go as low as 130 up to 137. So let me play the Angels. I didn't use him yesterday because Trigg made a great reason to not play him, but I'm going to play him today. I'm going to take him at plus, let's go plus 135. The Angels plus 135 here will be my part of the parlay.
Guys, go to wagertalk.com and see what we got up. I have a Major League Baseball play up, and I'm sure my friends here will as well. We always put free plays up. It's worth the 10 seconds to go check it out and leave a comment on the replay here. We read them all, and we appreciate you guys showing Wager Talk that you support our show. I'm going to go against Bryan here. I don't do it often, but I like the Royals in this case. Noah Cameron, how many pitchers in Major League Baseball have as many innings as he's got with a sub 3 ERA and a 109 WHIP? Those are Wheeler numbers. The problem is, he's been a little shaky recently. In his last couple starts, he's starting to give up runs. It's probably because he's young and slightly inexperienced, but the White Sox knocked him around for 6 earned. But if you take that start out, I mean, everyone's allowed a clunker. He allowed 4, 5, 6, 7 earned in his last 4 starts. Pretty good. And he's a better pitcher at home. Kyle Hendricks has a 5+ ERA on the road. And the Royals have the better bullpen. So I find it hard to bet against the Royals here, especially after the way they lost yesterday. I'm going to back Cameron and the Royals here. We'll see. We'll see on tomorrow's show who was right, either Bryan or myself. But I like the Royals here.
Yeah, no, you both make good points. So first of all, I just want to say about Kyle Hendricks. I hope when Kyle Hendricks retires that he opens a pitching academy, because he has got to be like one of the last guys right now. And I think it's going to come back into favor. I think you're starting to see guys start to do this more, but like for a while there, we just had a bunch of throwers. Like guys weren't pitching anymore. They were just out there trying to whip the ball in as fast as possible with as much movement and as much spin as possible. And what happened is guys started to like just get hurt. Careers were ending. So you're starting to get these guys that like are more Kyle Hendricks-esque, but he's certainly the last one from guys his age, in my opinion, that really are out there like pitching from like a cerebral standpoint, where everything he's doing is just trying to outsmart the hitter. He does not really have stuff at this point. He doesn't throw hard. He can't throw hard. Yet he's still in the league. And Brian's pointing out like some of the stuff on his StatCast page being very impressive. That's all brain right there. That's all just him being an elite pitcher. Like I used to think when he was back on, I mean, you can go back to the 2016 Cubs when they won the World Series. He was a part of that team. And I always felt like he was Greg Maddux-esque, and it's really looking like later in his career. I mean, this was Maddux when he was like 41, right? Like this is like what he was doing pretty much to stay in the league and get guys out. And that's what Hendricks has been able to do. So he's been very impressive. He's also been priced as this like bottom option, and he's not that. So again, I haven't really found any, really good reason to go against him at all this year based on where the market continues to price him, which they've done here a little bit. Cameron. So I was on Cameron and the Royals in his last start, and he had nothing, and he hasn't pitched since. So it's worth pointing out that he was skipped. I don't know if it was just a rest thing. I don't know, but he had, and he went out there and fought for them in that start and actually hung around maybe a little bit longer than I think like most of those runs he gave up were in the first or second inning. And so credit to him for like doing his team a solid, staying in there, getting through 5 innings. But he had nothing right from the outset, because in the first inning of that game, he gave up a couple laser beams and they happened to go right at someone, got out of the inning. And then I think he got blown up in the second and third. Point is, like, he had, I think the innings are getting up there for him a little bit. And so I wonder if maybe being skipped and having the extra rest, we see him get back to the numbers that Tokyo Brandon pointed out, which are really, really good. And this is a guy I've liked this year as well. So I think just from a standpoint of like, giving a lean out or giving an opinion, I'm not going to go against either of you guys. I kind of lean toward the under here. And I don't know what it is yet, but if you can find a 9.5, which might be a little bit juiced, I think that is very playable. Even the under 9, even money or plus 105, I'm not sure what it is. Places I'm seeing an even money right here. 9's kind of that key number where you're still safe in a 4-4 game. So that's what I would look for. If you can find like an under 9.5 in this game at like minus 120 or less, I think that's a pretty good bet. And even under 9 at plus money, I'm fine with. What do you see, Brian?
Yeah, it's 9.5 minus 130 if we were one of the few that are still with the ESPN bet. Pinnacle's got 9.5 minus 116. So that's
great bet.
At
that price,
bet in that regard.
At that price, I think that's a really good bet, because I think I think Cameron desperately needed a week off, and they gave it to him. And I'm with you on Hendricks. He's outsmarting hitters, and the Royals lineup has not been tough to outsmart this year. I feel like they almost outsmart themselves half the time they're at the plate. So I don't mind that at all. Under 9.5 at that price, or really any under in this game, is the way I would go. All right, let's move it along. We've got 2 legs of the parlay locked in. I can guarantee you mine will be in one of these last 2 games. So let's get to it. It is White Sox Twins. Taj Bradley is up at the majors where he should have been when he got to Minnesota, even though they let him rot at AAA for a month. Not really sure why they did that, but he's back with the big league club. And this looks like a potential collection of bullpen arms for the White Sox. Going to have to do a little research as Bryan talks to see who might be the bulk guy today. But both teams have used some bullpen, and these are not, this isn't like the deepest of collection of pitchers on either side. So, Bryan, Leonard, how are you seeing this one? White Sox, Twins, Bradley versus whoever the White Sox decide to throw out there today.
Yeah, it looks like according to the odds logic, it looks like Leonard is going to get the start. We're looking at Bradley about a 150 favorite, total 8.5. Frazier Leonard has pitched 34 games in the majors the last 2 years. He's only started one game, and I believe that was similar to what he's doing now. He'll come in. He's only thrown 9.
Real quick, you guys, it's Frazier Leonard's only going to throw 1 inning, so it's going to be Jonathan Cannon. It's going to be Cannon that is essentially making the start here. Sorry, I just wanted to point that out. Go ahead.
And he's been cannon fodder for other batters. Yeah. So Ellard's going for the White Sox. I find this game very intriguing because did you guys, either one of you, see the quotes from Taj Bradley off his last start?
I actually didn't. What was it? No, I'm interested to hear what he said.
He came out and said afterwards, I believe he pitched a really good game last time out. And he said it's the first time in his career he has looked and prepared for the opposing batters before the game. What? He had been in Tampa Bay, and we always talk about Tampa Bay being such a great organization for pitchers. According to Taj Bradley, he has never actually looked at what the likes and the dislikes are for the pitchers he's facing and their weaknesses and their strengths. Can you believe that?
It's got to be by design. The Rays are. It's got to be some MIT spreadsheet guy that told him not to do that. That's all I can think of.
And he pitched really well. And he goes, I can't believe I've got my entire career and not doing this.
Or he's lying.
Well, no, I don't think he'd be lying. That's an embarrassing thing to say about yourself,
right?
But anyway, he comes in with a 4.82 ERA, 3.88 expected, 1.29 WHIP. He's been in the league for 3 seasons now. He's got a 4.77 ERA, 1.29 WHIP, and he's done so pitching in the worst division in Major League Baseball. In being from Cleveland, I'll admit it. The Central is terrible. You look at this year's, and only one team has outscored the opposition. It's a bad division, and he has not pitched well in it, and he remains in it as he's with Minnesota right now. I am curious, and this is the game I'm going to be watching tonight. I'm curious to see what Bradley does. Did he finally say, "Oh, I didn't realize we could do this kind of thing," and now he's found a way? So I would think we will see if he's lying or if he has figured something out in this game. That said, I think the runs will be scored in this one. We've got 2 teams that the bullpens are extremely worn out right now. Leisure's pitched 2 of the last 3. Vassal's pitched 27 yesterday. Ellert 16. So they've got some guys that are a little bit worn out. Let's look at the Tampa Bay bullpen. Minnesota. Excuse me, Minnesota Twins. So they're still used to seeing him in the Tampa Bay uniform. They used their last 3 guys, Topa, Sands, and Funderburk yesterday. I don't think Topa's going to pitch. He pitched on Monday, but the other 2 should be available. So their bullpen's in a little bit better shape. So I can't lay this number with Minnesota because I don't think they're much better than the White Sox at this point. But it's going to be interesting to see how Bradley pitches in this game. And, I just found that quote amazing. And so we'll see what happens here.
Taj Bradley has faced the White Sox twice in the last 2 months, and he's given up 11 earned runs in 6+ innings. These guys have gotten to him hard. But like Bryan said, if that's the first game he ever checked the opposition, he pitched 5 innings with 1 earned, so it's pretty good. But Taj Bradley, in my opinion, is a very inconsistent pitcher. I've never really been a fan of his. And now he's on a team that's basically a sinking ship. White Sox, surprisingly, not really known for their power hitting, but I've got them ranked 10 out of 30 teams in current form. So they're hitting quite well. And I've got the Minnesota bullpen ranked 29 out of 30. Taking a look at the team totals here, the White Sox 3.5 seems pretty delish to me. I think they can get 4 runs in this game pretty easily. Even if Taj Bradley has a good game, I wouldn't expect more than 1 or 2 earned runs in 5 innings, which will open up 4 more innings for them to just tee off on this disgusting bullpen. So I think Sox 3.5 is a good play here.
Yeah, my parlay leg will be the over in this game, over 8.5. Jonathan Cannon has been awful at AAA the last month, absolutely terrible. He's gotten blown up in just about every start. This isn't a reward for him per se. This is like the White Sox just saying like, hey, like we just need a starter. You're up. Like it's not like he's been down at Charlotte. So here's his August numbers, and one of these starts. Now, granted, one of these starts was at the big league level where he got smoked by the Mariners. His August numbers overall, 8.59 ERA. This is in 22 innings. He's given up 30 hits, 21 earned runs. He's walked 10 batters. He only has 16 strikeouts, a 326 batting average against, and a 1.82 whip. Those are his August numbers. It has not been good. His most recent start came against Nashville, where he gave up 8 hits in 4 innings. So the Twins should be able to get something there. You talked about the bullpen usage. You're going to get Leonard for an inning. That's fine. I don't think there's any guarantee that he just goes out and throws a clean inning. And then on the other side, like even if Bradley pitches well, the Twins have no relief. They literally no bullpen. They have no bullpen. Every respectable arm was traded away. So like they have some guys that you could say, okay, like this guy might be with the team next year, or maybe he could be like a reliable long reliever, but it's not like there's anyone that you would be like, that can't go out there on a given day and give up runs. There's zero consistent good bullpen arms on this team. And yet the total's only 8.5. How is that possible? How is it only 8.5, right? Like for a full game, 9 innings between these two teams, and it's only 8.5. I thought we were going to see a 10 on the total there. So that'll be my parlay league, over 8.5. Cue up the 2-1 final where Bradley throws 7 innings of 1-run ball. But like other than Taj Bradley pitching well, which like you've said has kind of been hit or miss, there's going to be runs everywhere else in this game, and you only need to get to 9 on a day where there's not much else. I'll throw that in the parlay. So over 8.5, White Sox Twins minus 110. Minus 110.
Minus 110.
Incredible.
I will say this is a getaway day. Both teams go on the road tomorrow. That's my only concern. But yeah, I'm surprised it's 8.5. It should have been 9.5 in my opinion. But yeah, I got nothing against that. Other than both teams have got to get on a plane, travel to a different city. But other than that,
and the nice part about that is, or just like if this game is not close. Like, let's say, I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout, but if this game is not close, like let's say it's 4-0 or 5-0 at some point, you can rest assured it's some bum coming in to finish it up, and they could give up 4 runs in an inning as well. The only way I think this over doesn't get there is if it's literally like Jonathan Cannon comes in and just randomly has a great start, and you're looking at like a 2-1 type game. 5-0 can become 9-4 very quickly in a game like this because no one has depth relief arms at this point.
We saw that yesterday. Minnesota's cruising around, had an easy win in the pocket. I turn around and look, and all of a sudden the White Sox have taken the lead.
Yeah, that's kind of the game I'm seeing here. And but again, if not, like if Cannon's just no good, what was the final yesterday in that game? It ended up being a 4-3 White Sox win. It's probably something like that is probably going to happen again today. Or one team's going to get up so big that it's like 7-0 and then it's 7-3. A lot of ways to get to 9 runs here, and that would get you a win in this one. And hopefully it gets us a win for the parlay that's locked in, but we've got some business to handle first. And that business is probably the game of the day today. out in Houston, the finale of what's been a very entertaining series so far, Bryan Leonard. So Yankees, Astros, Major League Baseball says, we don't care that there's a huge football game tonight that everyone else is going to watch. Let's put our best game right up against that at 7:40 p.m. Eastern time. Rodon, Christian Javier, it looks like, to finish it off. What do you think?
That was a fun game yesterday, unless you're a Yankees fan. Really playoff type of atmosphere in Houston. The fans were standing the entire time. We had talked the day before about the pitch, the pitch thrown, and then the catcher hitting the catcher in the chest. I did read some articles about it, and they really they went after the pitcher in the dugout or in the locker room. They went after him. They didn't go after the young catcher. And so
they know he's gone. He's gone at the end of the year, by the way.
Yeah.
Framber Valdez.
Teams love their catchers. The catcher's the most popular guy in the locker room. Every team.
Yeah. And they're not going to they're not re-signing Framber, and it's somewhat known. So I have a feeling it's going to be a long couple weeks for him as a part of that team.
It could be, but the team did not act like it was a divided locker room. They acted like they were out there to play some ball, and they did. It was a great baseball game, regardless of who you liked in it. Rendon, the lefty, against Javier, the righty. Rendon's about a 135 favorite and a total of 8.5. And if you watched the game yesterday, and I hate to continue to harp on this, Yankees fans, but the Yankees played Yankee baseball. They hit the home runs. They do that very well. They run the bases terribly. They play terrible defense. And it was clear that Houston was the more talented team when it came to the all-around, the way they played, very similar to the Phillies and the Brewers. As we're talking, the line seems to be getting bet up a little bit. It's 8.5 now, minus 120 for the most part, 125. So they expect some runs here in Houston, and I could see that happening. Carlos Rodon, 3.18 ERA, 3.29 expected, 1.08 WHIP. He's been terrific all season long. He's already thrown 164 innings. He's almost up to where he was last year. This guy I love to have this guy on my team. But if you take a look at his StatCast page, his pitching, yes, expected batting average in the 90th percentile, whiff rate in the 84th, strikeout in the 78th. His extension is only in the 19th percentile, and his walk rate is in the 21st. His strikeout to walk ratio is only 16.5. 16 is about league average. And you would expect him to be better than that. Like last year, he was 18.8. And so he still walks too many batters. He's walking 10 a game, 10% this season after really cutting down on that the last few years. But he's back to walking a lot. But I like him. Between him and Freed, they've had excellent seasons. Christian Javier just coming back. He has not pitched a lot. In 2023, he had 162 innings. Last year, because of injury, 34.2, and now it's 16 right now. So obviously he hasn't thrown enough innings for the StatCast page to light up. But overall, most of his stuff is pretty good. Expected ERA, expected batting average, barrel percentage. But his walk rate is bad. His ground ball percentage is bad. His extension is bad. Comes in 3.38 ERA, 2.73 expected, 1.13 WHIP. He's a fly ball pitcher, and I think the Yankees can get to him here. I prefer the Yankees side in this game. I think the Yankees team total, let's take a look at that, may be the way to go here. It's at 4.5. You can get it for basically even money. So they score 5 runs, you get a victory. And I think that could possibly happen here. Take a look at the bullpen for Houston. They're already dealing with a bullpen that's really worn out. They've already got the best reliever, possibly the best reliever in baseball, on the DL or the IL as they call it this year. They got Abreu, who pitched 30 pitches last night. Okert has pitched 2 of the last 3 days. In fact, the last 2 days he's pitched. Kings pitched 2 of the last 3, and Orts pitched 2 of the last 3. So they're running into some problems in the bullpen there. After Abreu throws 30 yesterday, and he really struggled to be able to do that. That's what let the Yankees back into the game. I have concerns about the Houston bullpen in this one. I like the Yankees, and I think the best way to play that is for them to score 5 runs and you get that victory. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game with those bullpens in there. So I'll play the Yankees team total in this.
Guys, go to wagertalk.com. Go to our pages and see the free plays we have up. Fun aplenty. And we also would appreciate if you left a comment on the replay of this video and leave a like for us. Show Wager Talk that you still like baseball and as much as we do. Again, I have to go against Bryan. Not directly against Bryan, but I like the under in this game. And there's a couple reasons why. I think that Rodon has been pitching excellent. If you look at his numbers, they're almost as good as Cameron's numbers. They're like really good. A 108 WHIP. Who wouldn't like that at this point in the season? Against the Astros, his numbers are mediocre. But I think this season he's pitching better than he has in past seasons. I don't think his past history against this team matters quite as much. And the Astros have been a little bit of a funk at the plate, not looking like a playoff team recently, showing some good signs, but overall they're slumping a little bit. And although Javier has had some problems since coming back this season, in his history, he's dominated these Yankees. I mean, 61 at bats against and a 180 average, 690 OPS. I think under in this game is the way to go here. 8.5 seems a little high to me. This looks like a 4-3 kind of game to me. Even if like Bryan can win his too, the Yankees can score their 5, but I don't think the Astros are going to score 3 or 4 and kill the bet. So under would be the way I would go here. I haven't played it yet, but if I did, that's how I would go.
Because we went game to game, I haven't really been in the chat as much as usual, but we got to get the chat involved before the end of the show. Fortune Not, I don't know if I said that correctly, says, is it a good idea to fade Jimmy Cross up? I'm assuming that's Framber Valdez, who we started the segment off with the rest of the season. Well, he gets priced as a premium option. So, it's not the worst thought to think about doing that because I feel like he does kind of get priced as one of their top pitchers. So I would say, like, obviously take everything case by case, but I don't think it's a terrible thought to, like, maybe, have that in the back of your mind next time he comes around to start. As far as this game is concerned, I said I wanted to find a spot to bet the Yankees in this series. I don't think that this is the worst spot to do it. Ultimately, I don't know if I'll end up making a bet on the Yankees in this series, and I'll just have to let it go because the price was a little bit high here. But I guess my only concern is, like, there was a point in time last night where the Yankees were just kind of chilling. They were up 3-0. They probably took a look at that out of town scoreboard, saw the Reds were up 5-0, probably feeling pretty good about themselves. As I said yesterday, I thought that they had some real momentum going to potentially chase down the Blue Jays. And what ended up transpiring? Well, I took a loss with Reds plus 1.5 after having that 5-0 lead. They completely imploded. Blue Jays got the win. And the Yankees choked away a game where they had a multi-run lead, lose 8-7. So a little bit of a gut punch right there. I'm interested to see how they respond from that. Again, I do think I prefer Rodon and the Yankees in this spot. And that was always sort of my mindset going into this series, was that the Yankees would take this series. So based on everything I've kind of said, because we've talked about this game every day for the past 3 days. So the culmination of everything we've talked about, what would put me on the Yankees here, it could only put me on the Yankees here, because I did say on Tuesday, I felt like this was I felt like they would win this series, wanted to find a spot to bet them in this series. So far, they've now split the first 2 games of the series, so I could only be on the Yanks. But, man, the way that those 2 games played out last night was not great for this Yankees team, and I'll be interested to see how they respond to that. I'm not sure I'll have any part of it, but I'll be looking the rest of the day to see if I can talk myself into a Yankees play, because it's probably the only way I'm involved in Major League Baseball today. So semi-strong lean to the Yankees there for me. All right, we've reached the end of the show. We did it today. All 6 games. Got to them in an hour. Timed it out kind of perfectly today. Got there right at the hour mark. We have our 3-teamer locked in, so let's read it off. I'll promo myself real quick. I have nothing to sell for baseball on Thursday. I doubt I'll have a client play for baseball, but I do have a 5% NFL, and I went 4-0 in the NFL preseason, if that means anything to you. I'm going to try to roll some of that NFL preseason profit into Sunday. There's one game I really like. Might be the only NFL game I bet all week, but I do like that when it's up on my page. TB said he's got stuff up. Brian's been extremely hot over the last, God, it's been a while now, Brian. Running good.
Number 2 the last 3 days, number 1 the last 7, number 1 the last month. We've talked about when football season comes, that's the best time to bet baseball, and it's been working out great. We're 12-3 in our last 15, 4 stars and better in Major League Baseball, so good time to jump on board.
Rest assured, I will be betting minor league baseball today, as I do almost every day. I cashed with the Salt Lake Bees yesterday. Nice little easy winner for me last night. That'll be what'll keep me entertained today. What can keep you entertained today is this 3-team parlay, which I'm going to recap here to close out the show. Tokyo Brandon, Rays -160. Bryan Leonard, Angels +135, bringing our parlay odds up again like he did the other day. Nice outright winner for you. I think it was maybe Monday or Tuesday with the Orioles that helped us cash some nice odds there. And then I'm going to go with the total. White Sox Twins over 8.5. That parlay plays +629. Obviously, could be different based on your book. Shop around for the best odds. But one more time, that is Rays full game, Angels full game money line, White Sox Twins full game over 8.5 +629. TV, did you have some closing thoughts for us before we head out?
Yeah, I have a MLB play up. I'm number 2 the last 30 days, and I'm number 1 in 2025. So we're all doing good. So go to wagertalk.com, see what we have. All 3 of us usually put up a free play every day. So it's worth your 10 seconds to go check it out if you didn't get our plays from this show.
I'll even go one step further as to say, like, if I do play Major League Baseball today, which the likelihood is quite slim, I will put it up for free on my page. And if I don't, I'll put my strongest sort of lean up for free. So that will be in the free play section. Since I'm trying to get you to buy the NFL play.
And we have KBO.
Yeah, I'll have KBO in the morning. Yep.
KBO is half price.
That is nice that they let us do that. Yep. Always KBO, always half price. And we're getting down to it with the KBO right now. We're in makeup
LG
territory.
LG came through for me.
They've been coming through for you a lot lately. I feel like every day you're on LG, every day they win. So,
but your KT yesterday was a great call, Adam. And
that was one of the
Brian's call on the Rockies over was also a great call. So you both had really nice plays yesterday. I was impressed. That game. I had a crap day yesterday. So
hey, it's good. I also, on the same day I had, I guess, a nice win on KT. I managed to have a 5-0 lead with a +1.5, and it wasn't even close. Wasn't even close to a win. Gave up 13 runs, so it happens. Good luck today. Enjoy the Cowboys-Eagles game if that's your thing tonight, and we'll be back 9 a.m. in the morning tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, to finish off the week for more Total Bases. We'll see you guys then.